Hello, English 2 students. I hope you are well. I'm miss seeing you guys. I mentioned that the other day. Please do not hesitate to reach out via email or stop by my office hours to check in and just to say hello. I'd love to see your faces. We previously discussed chapter 6, where the boys received a sign from adults, a parachute that Sam and Eric believed to be the beast. Piggy says, Piggy stays back while the little ones, with the little ones while the boys go looking for the beast. And then in chapter 7, Ralph rests on his hike, so they're going after to find. They see this castle, this rock, and that's where they think the beast hides. So going up. They're going up the mountain, and in chapter 7, Ralph rests on his hike and wishes he could cut his hair, clip his nails, and get cleaned up. He's reminiscing on his past in England. He stares at the ocean and thinks how big it is and how it separates the boys from civilization. And which is really true. This big body of water is the big barrier between civilization and on this deserted island. But Simon reassures Ralph by saying, "You'll get back all right. Don't worry." So the ocean is symbolic of the subconscious, where the beast lurks. It does separate Ralph from civilization. So it is a big thing that separates the boys. It's interesting to note that Simon predicts Ralph's safe return, but does not predict his own. So we can see that Golding may be foreshadowing or hinting that will Simon be rescued? I don't know. We'll have to find out. A while later, as they head through the jungle toward the mountain, the boys find signs of pigs. They come upon a wild boar. The boar gets away, but not before Ralph hits in the side with a spear. Being prideful, Ralph reenacts the hunt with a big un named Robert. Soon all the boys are involved chanting, "Kill the pig, cut its throat." And for a brief moment, it seems like they might actually kill Robert. Ralph's excitement at killing shows that even he has a savage side to him, okay? He actually enjoys and is very prideful in the fact that he stabbed the boar with a spear. So the innate good Ralph actually has a little bit of savage to him, although it's a little more repressed. The ritual dance gains in power, almost killing Robert and foreshadowing future trouble. So chapter 6 that we talked a lot about, foreshadowing there, also in chapter 7, little hints that Golding, the author, put in to hint at the future events. The boys finally stop and discuss how to do the dance properly. Maurice suggests a drum and fire. Robert says they need to use a real pig next time so they can really kill it. Jack suggests they use a little one. All the other boys laugh. All the boys' suggestions, from drums to human sacrifice, would make the dance more savage. This is just more foreshadowing. More violence to come. Okay, darkness falls before they reach the mountain. Ralph realizes that they need to send someone to tell Piggy they won't be back that night. Everyone's too frightened to volunteer, except Simon. And Simon's at peace, and he's not frightened because the fear is within the boys. That fear within them is this mystical beast that isn't really there. And Simon knows it. He understands that the beast is really within. It's more internal, not external. And he doesn't fear the jungle because the beast really isn't there. So he's okay with going back to telling Piggy that they won't be back that night. Jack mocks Ralph's concern for Piggy. Ralph asks Jack, "Why do you hate Piggy?" The question makes all the boys nervous. And we know that Jack early on could see the interaction and could see the relationship that Piggy and Ralph had. And Piggy's the mastermind. He's like the Oz behind it all. He tells Ralph what to do. The only reason why Piggy doesn't have any powers is because he's just that little intellect, chubby kid, and people don't respect him. They look up to Ralph. So whatever Ralph says goes. If Piggy would voice his opinions, they don't listen to him. It's been shown in the very early on in this book that they tell him to shut up and they don't listen to him. They listen to Ralph. So Piggy kind of just tells Ralph what to say. Well, Jack feels threatened by that. And this question, Ralph asks Jack why he hates him so much. The question makes all the boys nervous because people are uncomfortable facing questions that hint at the beast within us. Okay? People are uncomfortable facing questions that hint at the beast within. Okay, at the base of the mountain, the boys stop for the night, but Jack questions Ralph's courage, and so Ralph agrees to climb right then. Only Roger agrees to accompany them. Halfway up the mountain, Ralph decides it's foolish to go up in the dark. Jack insists on going ahead as Ralph and Roger wait behind. A few minutes later, Jack returns saying he saw something. The three boys climb the mountain to the peak, blinded by darkness. The wind blows, the parachute sits up, and the boys run for it. So this conflict between Jack, symbolic, represents savagery, okay? And then you have Ralph, represents civilization. So this conflict between Jack, savage, Ralph, civilization, for control and power serves only the beast's benefit. Here, Jack and his savagery prevail, luring the boys deeper into believing in the beast's physical presence, okay? And that's how chapter 7 ends. Okay. So I want to make a note. We've talked a little bit about illusion in class. Illusion is just like a hint or referencing something, and it's up to the reader to make the connection. A lot of times there's biblical references. Maybe it's a famous quote or just a reference about an apostle or a saint. Or maybe it's a reference about calling somebody or comparing them to like Einstein. So we know Einstein's a genius, and we can make that connection that maybe that they're a genius. So the illusion that Golding uses is referencing Berengaria. He says, "That's a wound," said Simon, "and you ought to suck it like Berengaria." Okay, because Jack got wounded, and Simon said he should suck his wound like Berengaria. Okay, so I'm going to kind of explain this a little bit because I think it's kind of interesting. He misreferenced it for some reason, and so Ralph is wounded by the boar. I'm sorry, I said Jack, but it was Ralph. Simon requests that Ralph suck his wound. That's actually, sorry, Jack, because it says, Simon says, and Jack sucked. Okay. Sorry about to confuse you. Jack is wounded by the boar. Simon requests that he suck his wound. So you would typically only suck a wound if it was poison, like a snake bite. So it's an urban myth to suck a wound to get Simon is confusion. Berengaria with Eleanor of Castile. Okay? So Golding puts it in here. I'm going to explain why. Eleanor of Castile, she was the English royalty that supposedly saved her husband's life by sucking the poison out of the wound. Berengaria has nothing to do with poison. She was the wife of Richard I of England. She was also rumored to have married for political reasons versus romantic reasons. Okay, so you follow me? They reference Berengaria. Golding wants us to look up both women because you look up Berengaria and like, that makes no sense. It has nothing to do with sucking your wound. Okay? He really meant to witness Eleanor Castile, but he wants us to compare both of these women. So Berengaria, it's confused. Berengaria with Eleanor of Castile. She was English royalty, Eleanor of Castile. English royalty that supposedly saved her husband's life by sucking the poison out of the wound. Berengaria has nothing to do with poison, okay? She was the wife of Richard I of England. She was also rumored to have married for political reasons, not romantic reasons. So why did Golding put the mistaken reference in, is unknown? But some think, and I kind of agree with this, the significance of the mistake, okay, he misreferenced. And the mistake is to make readers research both women and make comparisons to characters in the novel. And this is really a kind of aligning with a major theme. And it's kind of brilliant of Golding. So Eleanor of Castile is like Ralph because both characters are willing to do whatever it takes to save another human being. Eleanor of Castile is like Ralph because both characters are willing to do whatever it takes to save another human being. Eleanor sucked his wound, her husband's wound, to save his life. Then you have Berengaria, which is like Jack, because he will do whatever it takes to get more power. Just like Berengaria married for political power, not out of love. Jack will do whatever it takes to get more power. So Golding puts this mistaken reference so that readers research both women and make a comparison. And it's that good versus evil that we see to be the consistent theme throughout the novel. Okay, that's it for chapter 7. Like I said, if you have any questions, pop into office hours 9 to 10 a.m. Links on RenWeb for Zoom. Just to say hi. I'd love to see you guys. Or just shoot me an email. I'm available. All right, take care, and I will see you guys soon.